What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and Hollywood is burning. I mean, I don't think the theater industry is going to ever be the same. And this is after a couple different dominoes have fallen over the weekend that I'm going to discuss with you. And also, places like HBO are in dire concern over people canceling their $15 a month programming. You know, HBO is HBO. For me, I don't think it's worth $15 a month. It hasn't been worth $15 a month in a long time. The idea that when I can have Netflix and Hulu for both significantly less than that and have access to many shows I want, HBO continues to offer at best one, maybe two programs that people want. And there's just no point to paying $15 a month for The Wokeman or, shows that they're going to cancel after 2 or 3 seasons because they're forever lurching to replace Game of Thrones.
Go, go, go! Why do people run from me?
But over the weekend, it was reported now that AMC Theaters, one of the biggest theater chains in the country, is now likely facing bankruptcy. MKM Partners' Eric Handler downgrades the stock to a sell, estimating a cash burn rate in a no-revenue environment is running $155 million a month, which likely only keeps them liquid until June or July. $155 million a month. For what? Corporate salaries? I don't really know what to expect. But you're going to see even more information on why I think they're just never going to recover. Wall Street analysts are seeing Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing from cinema giant AMC Theaters as increasingly likely. That followed Loop Capital analyst Alan Gould's Wednesday downgrade to a sell in a report that concluded, quote, "We think bankruptcy is a distinct possibility, and at a minimum, the company will require a highly dilutive financing." Handler, in his Thursday report, explained, "Based on our view that theaters will be closed until at least August, and our belief that AMC lacks the liquidity to stay afloat until that time, we expect the company will soon be faced with filing for bankruptcy. Further fueling our liquidity concerns is AMC's decision to stop paying rents to landlords effective in April. AMC, in which Chinese conglomerate Dalian Wanda Group owns a majority voting stake, has been looking for various ways to reduce costs, furloughing all 600 corporate employees, including CEO Adam Aron, in last March following the closure of all of its cinemas, and in already earlier cuts its dividends by 85%. Yikes. Handler also cut his 2020 outlook for AMC's adjusted EBIT to a loss of $293 million compared with a $771 million profit in 2019. That is a startling drop.
Hey, buddy, down in front.
Full year revenue he expects to fall 44% to $3.05 billion. The revisions assume cinemas remain closed until August. Now, I'm not sure that I believe they'll be closed till August. I think things are going to start opening up by the end of this month. But who knows, honestly, especially when you look at things that are going to start to open probably won't be areas that are jam-packed with people shoulder to shoulder. And even on top of that, look at how people will now view going to the cinema. I think that there's going to be a significant group of people that just never want to go back to the movies. And now over the weekend, Universal has basically proven to themselves that they can record gigantic profits without the theater. Now, I, for one, am appalled people are paying $20 to rent a VOD. That is ridiculous. I don't think that they will continue to do so when there are other options. I think right now moms and dads need a little break. Their kids have already watched all the movies they've already seen, so paying $20 for a movie is fine. I mean, heck, Sonic is $20, which is absurd to me. But the film scored the biggest opening day and weekend of any digital title in history, if the studio is correct. Now, what you need to remember is when a studio cuts out the cinema, They keep close to all of that $20. When they give the theaters the release, they only get a fraction of that money back. While there are no numbers being made available, Universal said Monday morning that Tours World Tour, do they mean trolls? Geez, come on, you still have a typo in this article? This is definitely trolls. Scored the biggest digital debut of all time in Easter weekend. The studio decided to break theatrical window and make the DreamWorks animation title available for rent for 48 hours for $20 after virtually all theaters in the United States are closed. Now, you could argue, especially for a kid's movie, like I know my niece, my sister rented it. I'm sure they watched it more than once. So, okay, you're going to get a little extra mileage out of a kid's movie, but nonetheless, save for a spanning of drive-ins and much of the world due to everything going on, the movie was made available to cinemas still open, although Universal isn't reporting grosses. The touting is the following stats regarding the movie's performance. VOD Trolls World Tour is the biggest opening day in the weekend for a digital title, while generating approximately 10 times that of what Universal's next biggest opening day for a traditional digital release. The film was #1 title across major on-demand platforms, topping expectations on digital distributors, including Amazon, Comcast, Apple, Vudu, Google, YouTube, DirecTV, and Fandango Now. Theater owners have denounced Universal's decision to break the theatrical window, arguing that a film's home entertainment potential is based on a high-profile run in theaters that generally lasts at least 3 months. But some Wall Street analysts aren't as quick to judge. Unlike box office grosses, this is exactly what I said. Home entertainment numbers for individual titles aren't disclosed. It isn't yet clear what Universal will share information in the upcoming days. Oh, I thought they were going to talk about how they didn't need to share the revenue. But it's interesting, Theater owners, Chief Universal, Trolls on Demand Play exhibitors will not forget this. I don't know. I don't think that they're in a position of power.
You haven't ignored the last of me.
He expects more exhibitors to be closed for 2 months and hopes that Congress will act to help the industry's 150,000 furloughed workers to keep cinemas afloat. It's interesting to me that you have all these people in theaters, all the people that work in sports industries, sports arenas, music arenas, all these people are going to be off work for a considerable amount of time. And I believe that once Hollywood gets a taste of, remember, the initial numbers, I wish I could find this article because it was really telling. Oh, here we go. This is the article. Beginning Friday, the animated movie was available to rent for $20 after the studio decided to break the theatrical window. We already know that. But here's the interesting numbers. The Trolls franchise, voiced by Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick, is different. The first Trolls cost $125 million to produce before marketing, while the sequel cost closer to $100 after tax incentives and rebates. The first Trolls movie opened to $46.6 million domestically in October 2016, on its way to earning $350 million globally. Greenfield calculates, though, that Universal, which splits grosses with cinema owners, received back about $190 million of those theatrical rentals. That would equate to fewer than 10 million pay-per-view hits for Trolls World Tour. Greenfield added that cable giant Comcast, which owns NBC Universal, reaches 20 million homes overseas, and Comcast also owns Sky, which is another 30 million homes. And rival platforms such as Apple Movies, Amazon Prime are also pushing Trolls in a major way. This is the change.
Red, you go. Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Theaters across the world are going to be shuttered, especially the small town ones. The small town ones without cash deep aren't going to be able to survive this. And then when you have a big city, like for example, I live in a city of maybe, there's a couple suburbs around me in the 30, 40, 50,000 people. Each city has several cinemas. I don't think that's going to be the case after all of this. I think that it's going to see a vast pare down. And what I'm talking about here is you only need to sell, I know it's big numbers, but 10 million tickets to equal what you made in the theaters, which was probably 30 million, 40 million people going to see that movie. This is a major change. But pay TV fears even bigger subscribers, losses amid crisis. As sports leagues go dark and serious production halts, some analysts predict cord cutting will accelerate as the value proposition starts to fall apart. Here's a surprise. The value proposition of pay TV has been garbage for 10 years.
2,000 channels and still nothing to watch.
People have been cutting the cord, and to compensate rather than adding value, what did they do? They raised the prices, which is short-sighted and only meant to keep investors happy, but long-term it accelerates the amount of people willing to cut the cord. Bullish Wall Street analysts highlight that news and entertainment provided by pay TV operators are key sources of information and distraction for consumers locked up at home, with Comcast, for example, on March 30th saying linear TV consumption in its home increased by 4 hours to 64 hours per week, and video on demand usage hit record highs. Such as increased usage could potentially slow down pay TV subscriber losses, which in 2019 hit at an all-time high of 5 million for the largest pay TV subscribers. But the economists now expecting a recession in the wake of everything going on and unemployment on the rise. Consumers may be soon to review their pay TV bills. It could be a place to make cuts. Of course it is. When I cut the cord, I was paying like $110 or $120 a month for TV. I cut it down to Netflix, Hulu alone, and that's like $20 a month. And I'm already against paying for Netflix, which I cancel and re-up according to whenever shows come on. So really only 3 months out of the year am I paying for Netflix. When something I really want to see comes out, I'll pay for it for a month. I'll binge as much as I can, and then I'll cancel it. And there are a lot more people that do that too, which is why you're seeing Netflix trying to change things where they don't let you do that so often. The fact that sports leagues and TV show production have been put on hold could also make pay TV seem less of a value compared to alternatives. Comcast said on March 30th that video game downloads are up 50% overall, and streaming and web video consumption has increased 38%. Well, maybe, I know this is probably big brain and I'm not a big Hollywood big shot, but maybe don't charge $20 for a VOD. If you're a pay TV, you know, if you're DirecTV, if you're Dish, if you're Comcast, maybe you need to be working with some of these big movie releases to give your customers discounted rates, or heaven forbid, maybe a free viewing of a thing here too. Maybe consider giving us some value back, you greedy, greedy, greedy corporations. For years, you've given us less and asked for more, and I, for one, couldn't care less to see you wiped off the face of the earth. Goodbye, legacy paid television. I won't miss you. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.